What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. I'm your host, Liana, and today I'm joined by my dear friend, Shakirah Edwards. She's back. You know the face. Get used to it. She'll be back for more episodes in the future as well.
You heard her.
Today, we are going to be talking about friendship breakups and just mourning a breakup in general. Everyone can handle a breakup and go through things differently. So I think it's going to be good to hear our personal stories and then kind of unpack it and how we dealt with that ourselves. If you're going through something like that, definitely tune in, listen, get comfy, cozy. This is something that we wanted to talk about for a while now. The first time you came on, because we were both going through our own friendship breakup, and it was nice to bond with you over that because I felt very alone because it's so different than like a romantic breakup.
It is different, and like you have to think like you're literally mourning people who are still living, and that's really tricky. But I do remember last time we met up, if I'm not mistaken, yes, we were bonding over it, but you rekindled yours.
I have,
and mine is,
and yours is still, so I'm really excited to get into it. So I want to kind of give some context. Obviously, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, I'm not going to share all the specific details, but do you want to start with kind of how you got to that point?
For sure, yeah. So for me, this is somebody who is a friend of mine, a best friend of mine for about 10 years, and we had a codependent friendship. Like I've been over for like 30 minutes. She would know everything by now through text, from the snack I ate to like what I wore to like who DM'd me, that we were just like, we were codependent from like, college to graduation, like post college, as grown women and like in our careers, like just over, we were too close. We were connected like this. So she recognized it first, and for various reasons wanted to take a break, which in retrospect, I'm glad we took that break. We needed that. But the way that she proposed the break was like very dramatic and like crazy to me as somebody that I've known for a decade. But we bounced back, and I thought everything was great, and we were good for like a year. And then we like officially broke up actually on New Year's Eve going into 2024. I won't go into too much detail, but she very dramatically ended our friendship. Very dramatically. Like, I'm talking Tyler Perry movie. And I don't fault her for it. We folks grow apart, and our relationship was a bit unhealthy because of how codependent we were. But the way that the relationship ended very much like fucked me up.
Yeah.
Really hurt my feelings, made me second guess a lot of things. And that was the person I was closest to on this earth, literally. So that's me. That's the update. And since that, so that started off 2024. I've had some other friendships end with male friends. And like, it's just been a weird trickle. And it's been like, I think 2024 has been a great year. But as far as grief goes, coincidentally, it's the 10-year anniversary of my dad's passing. And I haven't felt this type of grief since he passed. So losing friends is like, it's tough. I think it's harder than a breakup. And it's definitely taken a toll on me. So
I'm sorry. And I'm sorry about your dad passing.
Yeah.
Like, 10 years is so crazy, and I'm sure it still feels like yesterday. But can you talk more about why it's been so hard?
For sure. So for me, like, my family dynamic is weird, for lack of better words. I've never been super close with my family. We've gone years without speaking before, literally. So I've always, like, since high school, I've always been very close to my friends. Like, I am the person who brings people together. I'm the person who's always, like, trying to be in community with my friends.
You
like,
definitely are.
Yeah, like, my friends have always been my family. So I think that sometimes I put too much weight on friendships, like, and that's why it's been hard. So with this relationship, like I said, we were friends for 10 plus years. Like, that was my person, like my soul. We would call each other soulmates. And then the other two friendships, like I said, they were men and different dynamics. But I think because I happened so close, like, to that friendship ending, it just, like, really took a toll on me. Like, it felt like I was, like, losing family members, because that's how I view my friendships, One of them, it would be weird if I said he was a family member because of how the friendship was. But you know what I'm saying. It's really deep for me.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I really struggled, like, just loss. And then it kind of caters to, like, my abandonment issues, too.
Absolutely.
And then my inner child is like, what the fuck is going, like, rebalance, recenter. And I'm really blessed. I have a lot of friends. And I think, like, when you're in your upper 20s, your 30s, 40s, it's hard. Most people can't say that. So even now, like, I still have a solid handful of people that I can call right now, and they'd have my back, and I'm so grateful for that. But literally, 2 of the 3 people that I'm closest to that I was talking to every day, I lost. And then, like, my number 4. Like, I just lost, like, 3 of my top 5 in a year.
Yeah.
So it's been really hard for me.
No, that is really hard, and that had me thinking, because I also went through something similar. As when I cut, you get to a point in your life when you have to start making cuts because people are not fitting that where you're going anymore. And once you make that first cut, do you think is that why the other 2 happened, do you think?
No. Like I definitely had like conversations with myself, like I don't feel aligned to this person. I don't.
Yes.
But those aren't even the people that I'm not friends with anymore. I'm
Wow.
still, and it's almost actually like all of those things happened coincidentally. I would say one of them was for sure the other person's fault. The other 2 was nobody's fault or both of our faults, however you would put it. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm cutting you off. It was like these things just happened, and I'm still grieving all 3 of these friendships. But then I've had conversations with myself, like I don't feel like some of my close friends that I still have left are aligned with me, or I feel like we're going apart, but I'm almost scared to have those conversations with them because I lost 3 friends this year. And I'm like, do I want to lose more people or distance myself from other people or put a wedge between myself and other people when I've already experienced so much loss? But I think that's almost like I could be stunting my own growth because of it. So I struggle with that. But I also realize, like, the older you get, you have different friends for different things. And the definition of a friend changes. Like, just because I've known you since 10th grade doesn't mean you're my best friend. It means I've known you for most of my life. And, you know, we've been there for each other, but do our morals align? Do we have anything in common? Are our lifestyles the same? And I'm really struggling with that because I do also feel like the 3 people I lost, while they are flawed, they had probably the most similar lifestyles as me. So it's been weird readjusting, for sure.
How has it affected your other relationships
Well,
and your friendship?
Yeah, and this is like a really vulnerable conversation.
Yeah,
so
thank you for opening up.
For sure. And I'm glad we're having this because I've never really had this conversation out loud, except for my life coach, shout out to Jen. But I think the way it's affecting my other relationships is I'm kind of putting a microscope on them, not comparing, because every friendship, every relationship in your life is different, but kind of just like, okay, this individual who I'm no longer friends with motivated me because they were super motivated and like we could feed off of each other. None of my current friends do that for me. Like things like that, having those conversations with myself. And I'm like, damn. So it's kind of been just making me want to, I guess, like, when you asked me when I walked in, like, are you in a relationship era? Or like, are you ready for a relationship? Maybe not exactly, but I do want new friends.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I don't want to get rid of my current friends. I love my friends, but I would love to be around more people who I feel like elevate me.
I definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
I definitely relate to that because I've been thinking about similar things. Like all the close friends in my life, they're great for the reasons that they're in my life. But the path that I'm on, it would be nice to have, like, and that's why I'm glad I have you because you do motivate me in that way. Someone who understands the creative field and being an entrepreneur and what goes into that and being able to pull me out of my funks when I'm in it. Not that it's anyone's job but my own, but people who do this type of thing understand the pressure we put on ourselves and how that burnout is real. And having people who understand that to help me navigate through it is like, I really need that because I want to keep pushing forward, and I feel like I'm doing this alone almost, and it's rewarding, and I've grown a lot through it. But yeah, having friends in that who would be able to push me would be really nice.
Yeah, and I think that it's just important. Like my friends, my current friends today are like some of the most supportive, loyal, like just honest, like good people. Like I have some really amazing, phenomenal friends, but most of my friends I can't call and be like, Egypt just did this. What do you think? Or I want to host an event. Like they're not even thinking about that type of stuff. So I think it is good to have friends for different reasons and different things. But I just want to be clear that like I don't question the like just like the genuinity, did I say that right? Of anybody that I consider a friend right now, and for that I'm grateful and I'm blessed.
Oh
like,
yeah.
So
no, that's really good.
Yeah.
On the other side of that coin, has losing those friendships, has that affected your trust in any way? I don't know. The way my friendships ended, it did affect my trust. And I know yours could have ended for different reasons that maybe it didn't, but I'm curious because I struggle with that going into other friendships now.
I will say, all my life I've always been like, this is such a blessing. It may be a flaw. Like I may be mentally ill because I don't, for the most part, I don't bring baggage from other relationships into other, like I forgive probably too easily. So I don't even carry that with me. But I think it could be a flaw because sometimes you should, because that's what makes people naive.
Yeah, yeah.
So friendship wise, no, I keep an open mind, and I'm always like down and willing and excited to meet new friends. But what I will say is, when it comes to men, yes, just two of the friendships that ended were with men, and one was romantic. And so I think that, because we always say like, be friends first, be friends first. Well, I do that. I've done that. I've tried that, and it's still like fuck. But I understand too, like, where I played a role and why it didn't work out. Like the friendship part didn't work out. So I can't even fully blame him and be like closed like to other men, because I know what I need to do differently now. So
Yeah.
no, I don't think it affected my trust. Now I think that like if these individuals tried to come back, which they always do, I'd be sketched out maybe by them personally, but not like in other relationships.
Other friendships. Good. Well, that's really, really good to hear. For me, I'm at a different part of my journey with this friendship breakup. So a little bit of background and context. I would consider us pretty dependent as well. We had lived together for such a long time, and when you live with someone, you get very close to them very, very quickly. You get to know their day, their schedule. Like, how many of your friends do you know every part of their day? You get really close, and we lived together for like 7 years.
Oof.
Yeah. So, and luckily, I will say this, obviously, if you pay attention to my life, or like you know me personally, you know that me and this person have thankfully worked things out, and we are friends again. And I'm not going to be exposing like everything, but yeah, I was very, very close with this person, and something just happened, and I was very insecure at this point in my life. I want to take a lot of accountability in that, because I don't love how I handled this situation, which is also something I've been dealing with and trying to grow from. There was something that came back to me that was said about me, and it just hurt my feelings. And because of how close we were and what the context of what was brought back to me was said, it hurt me deeper than maybe if somebody else I wasn't as close with would have said it. It was really hard to go through, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So my tactic, and something that I need to grow from, is if something hurts me, I run. Yeah, I'm a runner. Like, if I think you're gonna hurt me, or I think you have a chance to do anything, I'm gonna cut off contact, and I'm just going to act like this doesn't exist. And you can't do that. You have to face your problems head on, and that is something that I've learned through this experience. Because I was so hurt, I ended our friendship, and I didn't really give her space to explain anything. And I also don't like that I did that. I think that's wrong. I think, especially with how the relationship that we had built, I owed her that space to talk about it, and I didn't. And
oh, you're a real one, because I was a recipient of a cutoff.
Yeah,
like that.
And I'm sorry, because I can't imagine being on that side of doing something that, whether it was intentional or not, hurting somebody and not being able to discuss it. That's hard, or whatever the situation was. But so that is something that I really felt bad about. And luckily, we ended on a good enough terms where we stayed in contact for like the big moments in life, like birthdays and stuff. And that, I'm happy we did that, because I loved her. Even I was hurt, I still loved her, and it was really hard to get rid of one of my best friends that I've ever had, and not be there with her for those type of moments, because we had been there for every single one. Yeah, you get it. Every single moment, and like it's like their family at that point.
Oh yeah, for sure. And especially like y'all were locked in. Like you don't know one without the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we were inseparable. And so that had happened, and then some time had passed, and I do think that time is the only thing that can truly heal. Obviously, if you do the correct communication beforehand, time is the only thing that can heal, and I just needed time to process and grow in my own ways, and understand like what I did in the situation, why I put so much emphasis on it anyways, and like why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And I needed to work on forgiving, which is also hard for me. Like, part of running away from things is like, I just deem that person as bad, and then I just move forward. Like, forgiveness is a very powerful tool, and that's something that I'm trying to work on as well. I love that you forgive so easy. Like, that's why I'm like, wow, yeah, that's a good thing, because I'm the opposite sometimes. I'm stubborn.
That's real.
But anyways, time had passed, and we were able to reconnect. And when we did finally reconnect, I would say it was about almost 2 years of just like very, very minimal contact. We reconnected, and it was like nothing. No time.
Picked up right where you left
Literally. Off. I love her so much for who she is, and flaws and all, because I have them too, and she accepts me for mine. And it's just a really powerful thing to have a friendship for so long that you're able to overcome things like this, because especially for me, like I said, I'm a runner, sticking to something and working on and like putting in work to overcome it. That's not something I always do. So
yeah, and that's not easy for anyone. It's so easy to throw in the towel.
It's so, and it's just a testament to your friendship at the end of the day. So do you think that you could ever get to a place of resolution and reconciliation? There we go.
Recolation. I like that one.
Recolation.
It depends. So just to give a teensy breakdown. So one is a platonic friendship with a woman that I've been friends with for over a decade. No, on that one. To be back to how we were. No. I love her and respect her. I think she's an amazing person.
Yeah.
So I told you, I can't hold a grudge. Like, that's not my thing. So I could absolutely see us in a place where we are cordial, where we can be around each other and there's no issues and like we can speak and kind of like you said, minimal communication, but being back how we were, no. But I say that now, like I always say, like, never say never. I say that now just because of how our friendship ended. Like you said, I think for me it's about respect. And I think that whether I agree with her ending the friendship or not, that's fine. That's her decision. But the way that she ended it, I just can't, like, it's not even get over that, but it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. I don't think I could ever look at her the same.
Yeah.
And so no for that one. For the other person, like we like dated and then like we tried to be friends after. I don't even know. I don't know. That's IDK because I don't know.
And you can change. Tomorrow you could have a different answer for all of them.
Okay. Yeah. And the way I'm set up, you just never know. And then for the other person who is a male friend, that's a hell no. So it's
you heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
You know who you are.
Shakirah 2 times reporting live. No, but so I think that for me, I'm never completely falling out with a friend, like never speaking to you again, and then we're friends again. I've never done that. Now people get into fights, they argue, they ask for breaks, etc. Like that happens as part of life. But to like, I think once you reach a certain threshold of disrespect, I just don't see myself. And it's not even about forgiving. I forgive you and I love you, and there's a lot of these, at least 2 of these individuals I'm going to be in the same room as, and I'm gonna like often and soon, you know. And I'm not the type of person that's gonna act like I don't see you. I'm gonna speak, I'm gonna say hi, but it'll never be how it was.
Good for you for even saying hi.
Yeah, no, look, no sweat. No, there's no smoke between us. One of them, there's smoke, but I'm gonna still say hi because I just feel like, you know, I don't, like, I'm really big on respect. So
I like that a lot.
Thank you.
I will say, like, the reason why we were able to rekindle our friendship, because there was a mutual respect. If that's not there, like you said, then I know who you are. I can forgive you, but our paths are no longer in alignment because I don't like who you are as a person.
Exactly.
That's just how it is.
Exactly.
And I've had friendships that I'm done with now, and that's the case.
And it's just like, I know how you treat somebody that you say that you love and care about, because all of these people have said that they, and to be clear, like, they're not the villain in my story. I'm not trying to make it, well, one of them is a villain, but the other 2, I'm not trying to make it seem like they're villains, but like, we've made it clear that we love and care about each other, period. So I think if that's how you feel, stand on that even when we're beefing. And that's why I said with one of the friendships, the one that I was romantic with first, I had him fucked up. Like, I did not treat him with respect.
Yeah.
So if we're not friends, it's because of me at this point, you know, and I can honestly own that.
Accountability.
Yes, I can own that and say that. And I think with the other 2 friendships, they had me fucked up. If that's how you feel about me when you're mad at me, that's how you feel about me. So keep it.
That is, like, what you say when you're angry, you, like, I can choose my words that I use. I intentionally use them. Things aren't just slipping out.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I agree with that.
I don't like cats, but...
Oh, sorry, Zuzu.
It's okay.
No, come here, Zuzu.
Sorry, girl. Oh, boy.
Boy.
Sorry, boy. And I feel like he's bigger every time I come over here. And he matches that blanket perfectly.
He does. I know, he'll blend in. I have a picture of him and you can barely tell. So Shakirah just brought up a really good part of this that everyone is affected by, whether you're personally going through the friendship breakup, romantic breakup, whatever, is the friendship group after mourning the breakup. What is it like for you? For me, it was like we were all going at different areas of our life, so I didn't really have to navigate that.
Oh, that's nice. For me, it's tricky. Not for me, because like I said, Luda, except for there's only one person on this planet that I don't want to share air with, that I refuse to share air with. Otherwise, I don't care. Like, I can be in a room with people, I can be around people, and it doesn't affect me. I'm not the type of person who's like, if my best friend invites me to a birthday dinner, if the other person's going to be there, I can't make, like, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to smile, and I'm going to bring good energy, because it's your birthday, it's about you. However, the way other people are affected is awkward for me. Like, I've just had little things like, you know, we have friends that are mutual friends, and like if it's the other person's birthday, they'll like block me from their story, like little shit like that. Like you don't have to do that. We don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's
and
a
I'm
lot.
never the person to ask somebody to choose sides.
That's good.
Another thing I will say is my friendship breakup at the top of the year. They broke up with all of our mutual friends because they were my friend. So like that makes me feel terrible because
Really?
it's like, you know, bless you. Was that a sneeze?
Cough,
okay.
but thank you.
Yes, even though like it's not my fault that they're doing this, I felt guilt. Like, damn, because we're not friends, they can't be friends with it. Like, so stuff like that hurts my feelings. Like, I have secondhand. I'm pissed. Like,
Yeah.
I want to defend my friends because it's like, what did they do wrong? You know what I mean? And like I said, my friends are like the sweetest, most drama-free, like nonchalant, like kind people. So why the fuck are they catching strays? So things like that they piss me off.
I'm trying to think of like why. I'm trying to put myself in the position, in the shoes. Why would I do that? Because it's like you guys had a close enough relationship where you don't keep people around you that would be at risk to being kicked out of my life.
Right.
I can't process why.
Well, what I think, and this is messy. I mentioned our friendship was very like codependent.
Yeah.
I think that. I'm trying to decide how I want to say this. I think that for this individual, it may have been deeper even than it was for me.
Okay.
And you know how like when you break up with somebody, you don't want to be friends with their friend, like in a romantic. That's what I think, because there's no way that I'm like anybody that reminds you of this person you're removing from your life. To me, that means that it may have been much deeper to them than what I think.
Yeah, we're gonna unpack.
Yeah,
this
I was gonna say I hope my Morse code is.
It's loud and clear to me.
Yes.
But
so for me, like I'm not affected, but yeah, I think like my friends that have to catch strays because of my friendships ending, that really hurts my feelings. I hate that.
I hate that too, and I know when I was going through my thing, I'm always like, you be friends with who you want to be friends with. My relationship with this person has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
Like, because at the end of the day, we are on this planet to control ourselves. We can't control anyone else. Like, if you're choosing to, and it works for you, it works for you. It's not my business.
Exactly.
Unless it was like my ex who like abused me or something.
Right,
you better not.
right,
There's limits, but
right.
like mutual respect. But what would you say is different from a friendship breakup as opposed to like a romantic breakup? And why do you feel like one, or do you feel like you said friendship is harder? And why then?
I definitely think a friendship breakup is harder. I think the biggest difference is, this might sound messed up, but I think that I've only been in 2 relationships, but even like just situationships, every man that I've been involved with, I saw an end. Like I didn't think that we were going to be together forever.
Yeah,
I don't feel that way about my friendships. I'm thinking like we're going to be in the nursing home together. You're going to help me like raise my child. Like you're going to see my kid go to college. Like you don't see like, there's no expiration date in my head when it comes to my friendships, male or female. So for me, I think that's why it's the hardest, because it's just like it's out of nowhere. And I also think I like to take pride in. I think I am a good communicator and I can express what's on my mind. But I think for most people, they communicate better in their platonic friendships than they do in their relationships. So it's just like when a friend is upset or they're feeling a type of way or I've hurt them, that's communicated. And it's like we're supposed to be, or we're typically on the same page. So if our friendship is ending, it just feels more left field, because it's like you caught me off guard, because we're communicating with each other. Like I'm supposed to know how you're feeling about me. Like it's not a, you know, sometimes in relationships you play games and you're secretive, or you don't, you know, you just don't feel comfortable opening up. But like in a friendship, if you can't open up here, where can you open up? So
That's
I think
so true.
That's why it's harder for me.
I think, and that's something, again, another thing I want to continue to grow in is sharing when things make me uncomfortable instead of sitting on them and like suppressing it, because I approach it, and I think it's a good mindset to come from, but like within balance, I approach it with like everyone has their flaws, and like there's going to be things that I don't like, and I struggle with what to confront and what to just like let it go and be like, someone's just having a moment. And I think that friendship getting to the point or the ending getting to that point was because I sat on a lot of things and I internalized a lot of things. Exactly. And I didn't know how to have that conversation, because with my growing up, like if I brought something up, it became a big deal. So I learned to just not say things. And so that is an unhealthy pattern, and I bring in both relationships that are friendship and romantic.
Yeah. And what I will say is, like, thanks for sharing that. Something I want to work on is constantly like reminding myself and remembering that not everybody, like we all communicate differently.
Yeah.
Because I can articulate my feelings in the moment does not mean I can expect or like should assume that other people can. Is that it? What are these noises?
Wow.
What are these noises?
He's like, I think, are you coughing or hairball? Let's go over there. I'm so embarrassed.
It's your kid.
I'm so embarrassed. Oh
Crying.
my God.
But no, I think that like I sometimes don't have as much grace for people when they can't communicate like effectively and quickly, and that's unfair. So I need to, especially just being a mom of a child, I need to learn how to like dial back and put myself in other people's shoes and understand that like people communicate differently. Because you should be able to, now if you're always sitting on things, like yes, that's a problem, but you should be able to at your own pace, at your own speed, bring things up to your liking when you are ready. And I definitely am the friend that's like, if someone tells me what's wrong, I want to know now. Why are you telling me something's wrong? And you're not going to tell me why. So I am working on that and just being like more patient and open to other forms of communication.
No, I admire how well you do at communicating. Like, it's definitely a strength, and I wish that, or I'm hoping to grow in that area. I do well if someone asks me, like, is something wrong? I can open up then, but just putting it on someone, yeah, that's where I'm going to keep growing, y'all. You'll see.
Working on it.
Can we talk about how awkward it is when people ask about the friend?
Girl, a lot of times I just like, I beat people to the punch. Because, especially like with somebody that like you're used to seeing y'all. So where's it? We're not friends anymore. You don't even have to like.
And then you have to say, why? What happened? Yeah.
I don't even want to. I can't even get into it. But that's not my friend. Like yes, I make it. I just try to beat people to the punch. Because otherwise, it's just this weird, awkward elephant in the room. You know.
Yep. And it's like, how much do you tell? Because I don't want to talk that much shit to some people. I'll tell what happened, obviously.
Depends on who the person is.
But not everybody needs to know.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, this is still somebody that I love and I care about. So it's like you don't want to drag them. You know, you don't want to speak negatively of them. But you just, we're not friends anymore, and you just leave it at that.
And it's the same thing with like dating.
Exactly.
Yeah, where's so and so?
Right.
Yeah, not existent.
Look, I
don't know who that.
Name sounds familiar, but it's not.
It's not clicking.
Yeah. The hardest thing is having a kid and then you cut somebody off because he like knows names and it's awkward. Like the guy friend. I told you I watched this.
Yeah.
So his blanket is at my house and that's Egypt's favorite blanket. And one day I was in my feelings and I was like, we don't like them.
Oh,
no. Egypt was like, where's the baby's blanket? I said, that's not our friend anymore. And he started crying. And I was like, Shakirah, like, you can't act like this. Or the guy that I like ended things with and that friendship ended, and that's like partially my fault and I take responsibility. Egypt knows his name. So like randomly, specifically when he's with his dad, and luckily like that's my homie, so we laugh about it, but it's not funny. Like he'll randomly just start saying his name and laughing. Like, because he knows.
He's the informant.
He's an informant. So like little stuff like that.
Oh my
and then,
God.
Like again, like my platonic friendship, like that's TT.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh. That, and I'm sure it's hard to. She's missing out, and I'm sure she feels that too. And I'm sure it's hard to not be there for you while you're going through.
Off camera, though, girl.
Oh.
But yes.
I can't.
Yes, for
maybe not.
Yeah. So yeah. That's hard. That's tricky because it's like, how do you navigate that? And then one thing I will say, a way that it's affected me is like, I feel I'm a very unapologetic person and very opinionated person, sometimes to a fault. And I feel like sometimes I find myself like biting my tongue or like watering myself down with my current friendships because I don't want to lose them. And that's like so crazy because these people love you and they're your friends because of who you are. The people that stop loving you and stop being your friend because of who you are, those aren't your friends. But like these other people that are still around that love me unconditionally, why would I water myself down? They don't.
That is really sad. Yeah. And I can relate. I understand that. It's like a trauma response.
Yes. Yeah. So that's one way I would say, because you asked like if it affects. Yes,
yeah.
It affects my other current friendships. Like there will be little things where a friend will ask me for advice, and I'm like brutally honest, or at least like I want to keep it real. I'm not a yes woman.
Yeah.
But sometimes I will be, because I'm like, well, when so and so asked for advice and I told them what they didn't want to hear, they called me a bad friend. So let me water this down a little bit and chill out a little bit because I don't want to lose a friend because of my approach. So that's been hard for sure.
Let's talk about that a little bit more, because I think I do that. I do that too, and I guess I naturally thought like I'm just trying to match and meet that person where they're at. So there's some moments where it's okay, but no, you should not be watering your whole entire self down. You should be able to be your full self and be honest and truthful. So are you like changing what you say to them, or what do you mean?
Like everything.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah.
it's like,
That's
Shaq, this person has been asking you for advice for 10 years, and y'all have a solid, great friendship. You're not hurting them. Like, they appreciate you. They're asking your advice for a reason. They like what you're bringing to the table. Just because one person didn't doesn't mean that the other people don't, you know? So, but yeah, I've been very, like, I second guess everything. Like, am I being a good friend? Am I doing this? Am I, like, almost kind of get back into, like, my people-pleasing bag, because I don't want to lose any more friends.
And that's an abandonment issue.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yes, girl.
When I started learning about the abandonment issue, the attachment, all those things, I thought it was just for I just was looking at it through the lens of romantic relationships, and oh my gosh, I'm a very dependent friend, or I can be codependent in my friendships as well. Like KK, me and her have been friends for so long, we're naturally a little codependent in that way, but our friendship has shifted and like changed in the closeness and not like living together and not living together, so that has helped that. But yeah, I have to check myself in my friendships too, and I'm like hyper aware of it right now, and it's kind of uncomfortable. So yeah,
I think one thing that I struggle with is I care a lot about what people think.
Yeah, me
way
too.
Too much. And recently, like literally a mentally ill person started an insane rumor about me.
Yeah, so fucked up.
Some people that I'm no longer friends with were like helping spread the rumor, and like we're telling people, and just like
that's so nasty.
Yeah, and that came back to me. And then some people who I considered friends up until that point, were like believing the rumor. And I think that I think for me, like I said, I can move on past a friendship. I can see you in a room. There's no hard feelings. But I think the hardest like hurdle for me is like knowing that somebody who thought so highly of me at one point, or so I thought, could think so low of me. You know. So when things like that come out, or you know, if there's situations where you feel like you're in the spotlight and people that once had your back don't, I think that's painful.
That
so
is.
For me, like I said, for the most part, anybody that I'm no longer friends with will never be friends again. But if I hear something terrible, heinous about somebody, I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to believe it, one. And I'm definitely not going to, unless it's true, obviously. But if it's not true, I'm not going to believe it, and I'm not going to, like, throw smut on their name, or you know, like that's defamation of character. Like I'm never going to think ill of that person. So I think that that's been hard for me too, because it's one thing to like stop being close with somebody, but it's another thing to like just completely change your mindset of somebody. And
so hard.
Different, as if y'all weren't like, you know.
You don't have all these memories, these core memories together. Yeah, that's really hard.
Yeah.
On a positive note, what positive has come out of ending these friendships? Because for me, there was a lot of positivity, not just from the one that I had shared about, but other friendships that we've parted ways. Like I've grown in so many ways from those endings. What ways have you?
Yeah, so one thing I'll say is one of like the biggest friendship that ended, one of their critiques of me is that like I distracted myself with others and with friendships, and basically what they said is, and this is like so hurtful, so I'm saying it, was like maybe you'd be closer to God, or you would hear God more if you weren't always like crowding your brain with talking to other people and to other, like just all these friendships. Like maybe you need to like sit in solitude. Although that was completely out of pocket and disrespectful, and you don't know my relationship with God.
Exactly.
I will say, removing literally all 3 friendships that ended this year are people that I talk to every day. So removing those things and like sitting still in silence has been helpful, because that allows time to self-reflect. And I am naturally such a busy person, and I'm a mom now. So a lot of times there isn't any downtime, and when there was, I was talking to these individuals. So since I'm not anymore, and like my other friendships that I have are like healthy, normal ones where we're not blowing up each other's phone all day, every day, I have been able to like sit with myself and self-reflect. So that's been good.
That is good.
And then I think another thing is like, with male friendships, I have reverse daddy issues. Like my dad was my best friend.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need like men that are close to me platonically. Like I thrive in that, and I feel like I love my male friendships. Even the ones that like have gotten murky, like I still really depended on them. So I think that taking a step back from that and not having that has been helpful too, just to kind of remind me that like I don't need a man to fill a void.
Yeah.
Period, I don't. So I think I went from like when I was younger, men were feeling voids in other ways. And now I like just feel like I need like male community, like male conversation, male friendships. So I'm kind of getting out of that and like removing that too, and understanding and realizing like that. Well, although it's great to have, and you should definitely have guy friends. I don't need like male friends that I talk to every day. That does not have to be a necessity. Like I have Egypt's dad, and I have other guy friends that like we check in. Like I asked Joanne for advice the other day, and that's plenty. It doesn't have to be a good morning to good night. We're talking all day, every day, because that is codependent. So.
It is, yeah, and I think one thing when you were talking, I was thinking about how the ending of that friendship and how close that was had shifted how I put myself out in other friendships. Like I don't need to be texting somebody all day every day, and I had to sit and be like, no, this doesn't mean we're not good friends. It doesn't mean they don't not like me. That's not normal to do. And I don't have the time to do it, and I had to reprogram my brain in how I approach friendships in some ways. Obviously, I've always had friendships at different levels throughout my life, but yeah, that made me look at it a different way.
And that's what my life coach said to me. She's like, Shakirah, most people at 30 aren't sitting and texting the same person for 8 hours. Like,
I do not have the time. I don't have the time. Even if I'm sitting here doing nothing, I don't have the mental capacity to do that anymore.
So I think that's been the biggest benefit, like just unplugging and removing myself from like codependent. Because I'll say in a way, all 3 of those friendships were codependent, and I like, you know, like I guess leaned on them for different things, and vice versa too. I know they miss me, all 3 of them. But,
of course.
Leaned on them for different things, and I think it's good to just like have your own back. And then also like it's opened up that door for me to want to foster other friendships. Like I still have my core group of friends who I absolutely love and adore. But then like I want to make more friends that are in the entrepreneurial space. I want to make more friends that are creatives. I want some rich friends. Like I want, you know, like just to feel like I just want to be put in different rooms and have different space for different people. And I think that those 3 individuals, especially the first friendship that ended, like that took like most of my like, I guess my friendship plate. So now I have space and there's room for others, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. That's exciting, and a new chapter for you then.
Yes, I'm excited.
Well, thank you for coming on. I know this was a shorter episode. She's going to be back. We have some other topics that we're excited to get into, so get used to this face. But thank you guys for tuning in, and if you are going through like a friendship breakup or a romantic breakup or whatever you are at and whatever place you're at in your life, like we are here for you. We're sending you positive vibes, and just know that there is good to come out of it if that is what you're going through. And if you do have a story like similar to this, I would love to hear it. So please reach out. But I hope you guys are all well. Thank you for listening. Do you want to plug your socials? I mean, y'all know her, but it wasn't hurt. It won't hurt.
Mine is Shakirah Edwards. It's Shakirah Edwards or Shakirah 2 times on everything from LinkedIn to Snapchat, all of them. And also, I would like to say, like I've been doing journalism and hosting, but I'm in my event coordinator bag, so book me.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you. Bye.